I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, May the 19th, brought to you in part by Livestock Risk Services. They're some of the professionals that can help you with these LRP policies. The Livestock Risk Protection policies, which is basically an insurance, but it offsets your risk. It's by far the best way to hedge your background in cattle, but also very valuable for you cow-calf producers, or even you guys that are feeding cattle. And they've recently expanded that where you can cover enough head to cover almost anybody if you're an independent, for sure. But get a hold of those guys at Livestock Risk Services. They know what they're doing. They do a lot of them, and they can help you out. Recession is likely. I'm not rooting for it for sure, but that's what it's looking like. And this week, many of your top CEOs have agreed and said that they see that this country is going to be going into a recession, including the CEO of Wells Fargo Bank, which that pulls quite a bit of weight. But you just look at the economic indicators, and you know, we're going that way. Our stock market is plunging, down over 1,100 pounds or 1,100 points on Wednesday. It's done that several times here in the last few weeks. Of course, it had gotten up to such a big stratosphere there that it can handle that and still seem relatively high. But you know, the stock market doesn't drop that much many times in a short period of time for no reason. But you know, it's just not looking very good, and now our inflation has just gotten unbelievably high. And you guys are like me. If you go to the grocery store, the feed store, the filling station, wherever you go, it's just unbelievable what stuff costs. You want to stay in a hotel, you want to get a rent car, whatever you want to do, it's just unbelievable what it costs. And I guess the heck of it is, as long as we keep paying it, I guess they'll just keep raising it until people start backing off. But it's just unbelievable. I was noticing middle of this week that a gallon of gas is now more expensive than a gallon of milk. I don't know about you guys, but when I get a fresh gallon of milk from the store, you know, it seems pretty wholesome to me, and I want to protect it. You know, I know that a cow gave that up, and I'm going to be drinking it for the wholesomeness of my body or for my kids, and it's got a shelf life on it. I want to keep it cool, I want to keep it fresh. You know, it's something that we kind of hold pretty dear. But you think about leaning up on your pickup at a filling station, and you got the gas or the diesel nozzle sticking in there and just pumping it away, and you think that each one of those is more expensive, especially on the diesel, my God, than a gallon of milk. That's just, you know, that puts it into a perspective for you. But a gallon of milk, U.S. Average right now is about $4.25 a gallon. Gasoline's at an all-time record of $4.57, and diesel at a new all-time record of $5.58 a gallon. With all that ready-made, steady demand from your truckers and from your farmers there, and it's a much cruder product there. It doesn't take near as much money for them to refine it. But still they can get it, so that's what they're going to charge for it. But just seems absolutely ridiculous. Maybe if we equated a gallon of gas to a gallon of almond milk or fake milk, it costs roughly twice as much per gallon as a gallon of whole milk, real milk. And you'll never catch any of it in my refrigerator or on my cereal. The dairy industry allowed that fake product to come in there, and it's taken roughly 20% of their market share. We are allowing fake products to come in to the cattle, to the beef business, but we're not in the beef business, we're in the cattle business, remember that. And the guys that are really in the beef business, your packers, they are the ones that's funding all this. They're the ones paying all the money for research and development of this fake meat, because they really don't care where the protein comes from. They just want to maintain their percentage of the protein market control there. But you look at ground beef, which a recent U.S. average there is almost $5 a pound for a pound of ground beef there, about $4.92. Your fake or by the plant-based product is a dollar higher a pound to as much as twice what real ground beef is, and yet you see people that are still pushing it. But I have noticed lately that these fake meat companies are still struggling. They're still losing hundreds of millions of dollars, and I hope that everybody that invests in that stuff loses their ass. Now, some new information come out from the National Corporate Beef Association. They made an announcement on Wednesday there, and they are blasting this overreaching legislation that has been entitled the Meat and Poultry Special Investigator Act. And but it got marked up, or it got put up for vote in the House Ag Committee on Wednesday. And so that was kind of coupled with your Price Discovery and Transparency Act there, but it were two different bills. Well, this particular bill got pulled up. Well, NCBA is fighting against that. Of course, they're working for their Packer members there on that, because what it does is it gives the USDA subpoena power to enforce the rules and regulations, whether it's antitrust, P&S, or whatever it is. But on the other end of the National Corporate Beef Association, you hear them saying that they wish that we would get more information back from these investigations that the USDA has supposedly been doing on the Packers, to see whether or not they have been using unfair trade practices and colluding and all that. We know that they have. JBS has already paid $50-some million, and it didn't even get serious yet. You know, they just threw their hands up, threw some money at it, and wanted it to go away. We're still waiting for the other three of the big four to come in and pay their fair share. But absolutely, we know that's what they do. But but National Corporate Beef Association wouldn't be doing their job if they didn't fight for the Packer there and try to push against this bill. And they've got power there in D.C. and they are using all of it to try to twist arms to keep the USDA from using subpoena power to look into these investigations against the Big Four Packer there. And let's talk about your board on Wednesday. June live cattle futures and all of your live cattle futures but one hit new contract lows. I mean, we're tough. I mean, it's falling fast. But June live cattle down $1.50 on Wednesday, ending the day at $131.50. August down $177 at $131.70. Your back months on your live cattle all down big, from $1.27 to $1.60. May feeder cattle down $1.32, even though grains were down hard. But May feeder cattle, I mean, they're just in a free fall, down $1.32, closing $155.85. August down 97 cents at $165.80. Tell you what, the price you're going to get paid in the country on your yearlings, green grass yearlings coming off mid to late summer, it just gets a buck or two cheaper every single day, guys. And I don't know what's going to stop it here, because it used to just be on a pulley with grains, and when the grains would go up, it would go down. But now they go down even when the grains go down. But back months on your feeder cattle down 12 cents to down 77. Corn and the rest of your grains were all down big. We did hear some news that the United Nations, the UN, is trying to facilitate a deal with Russia. Now, how the hell you're supposed to deal with that Putin, and how would you know if you're good to go with the deal or not? Because he would renege on any kind of a deal you had. Handshake wouldn't be worth the time it took to do it. But they're trying to facilitate a deal with Russia to allow Ukraine to export grain. Now, if this indeed goes down, we are going to see these grains back up big time, especially your Kansas City hard red winter wheat, and it was down big on Wednesday. So you guys that are holding this, and if you still got guys that have been storing this stuff, let alone selling this year's crop, they must have ice water in their veins. But that's the deal we're looking at, and you guys need to be paying attention to that. But corn down 19 1/4 cents a bushel, ending regular trading on Wednesday at 7.81 1/2. Beans down 15 1/4 at 16.62 3/4. Kansas City hard red winter wheat down 43 1/4 cents a bushel, closing regular trading at 13.24 1/2. Fat cattle trade, we had some more trade on Wednesday. It's lower. Your live market is it's gonna be more than that on the range, but your weighted averages are going to be $2 to $3 lower this week than they were last week. We've got quite a price range again, as we still see the Northern Plains trading at a big premium to what the Southern Plains is getting. But Colorado had 100 head confirmed at 140. They've seemed to, they've always traditionally traded with the Southern Plains, Colorado. Of course, we never get to see it because of confidentiality rules with mandatory price reporting. They always used to trade with the Southern Plains. Here lately, they've been trading with the Northern Plains. Now they're kind of in the middle somewhere, but still kind of hung there with the Northern Plains. And it's likely because that third packer that's coming into Colorado, which is allowing this information to come through the filters, they're wanting the best cattle. They're creaming those cattle, and so they are paying the Northern Plains price there. But that was just 140 on Wednesday. Iowa had about 5,000 head confirmed on Wednesday. Live sales from 141 to 145, which is only a steady to a buck lower really than last week's trade, but the weighted average within there is sure a couple bucks to $3 lower. Dress sales 223 to 228. Nebraska, about 5,000 head confirmed there, 140 to 143, that's sure lower, and dress 223 to 227. Kansas didn't have too many confirmed on Wednesday. They had a lot on Tuesday, but only about 200 head confirmed on Wednesday, 136. That's $2 lower than Tuesday's trade, but it was likely some lower grading cattle there. Could have been on the Fed Cattle Exchange or something like that. I didn't check, but 136 was the price. They're going to try to keep working this. They're going to take it back in hunks, guys. We fought and scraped and clawed to gain $1 or so every week or two trying to get this market position. They're going to take it back in hunks. They're going to take it back $2 or $3 first half of the week, $2 or $3 the second half of the week. You just watch and sit and watch them do it, because they're all set up for it, because they've been buying cattle the last few weeks for 2 to 4 weeks out. They don't need that many cattle, which puts them in a perfect negotiating spot for themselves. They're masters at it. They are way, way better at it than the cattle people, guys. That's what they do, the packers. The biggest thing that they have control on is what they pay for the cattle. And 136 would, even though it was just on a few head, would sure be lower than what they just traded on Tuesday. It'd be 4 lower than what they traded last week and several weeks before that. But some dress trade in Kansas at 224, Texas about 200 head at 137. But you look at your grading, and I keep talking about this premium that's being paid in the Northern Plains. I'm talking about Iowa, Nebraska, and Colorado, and on the fringes up there too, they're getting that higher price. And why is the Southern Plains sucking hind tit? You say, well, the cattle are not as good. Well, they're not as good, but they're not that bad either. I looked at your most recent grading summary there, and it showed that nationwide cattle are grading choice and better 82.3% of the time. That is really, really good. What's causing that? Well, we've been feeding the cattle longer, which we're not going to keep doing that because we're not going to be able to afford to feed for them. The genetics are some better. I've told you many times, I think it's the instrument grading that makes your grading that much better. That's when it really turned, is whenever we got instruments or cameras in there grading all the carcasses in your main packing facilities instead of a heart-beating guy there, a meat grader there that we always had before. But and those cameras belong to the packers, not to USDA, and they get out of whack as soon as they get done calibrating them, it seems like every time. But Nebraska grading percentage, choice and better, 85.38%. Kansas, 82.33. Well, is that worth a $3 to $7 premium than that? Now, Texas is sitting down there just below 70%, but mostly because they feed a lot of Mexican cattle in the Texas Panhandle. Why did they do that? Oh, it makes us so mad whenever they import cattle from Mexico, because the cattle from Mexico don't die, and that's why they bring them in. They're not even cheaper anymore. They just don't die. They're so much hardier than the cattle that they used to get from the deep southeast and places like that, because I'm still convinced that it has something to do with the humidity, because those cattle that come out of Mexico and in a similar arid type of atmosphere there, they come up and they don't die. And you think, well, they're just sorry cattle because they don't grade as well. No, actually, the sorrier the cattle, the better they grade if you can keep them alive, because they're light muscled and they'll marble real easy. Mexico is about 20 years behind us in cattle production. They are going through the same stint with these big continental cattle as what we went through 20 or 30 years ago, because before that they had a lot of the Corianti cattle, or the cattle that were just shoeshine blacks or had some dairy in them, but just light muscle cattle. Well, they thought we needed to help that, so they put these big balloon butted continental cattle down there with the bulls. Now they've got a lot of them, and all these cattle that are coming up from Mexico are orange and red and yellow, and they've got the big antelope asses, I call them, where if you guys have watched antelope run away, they've got a lighter tint to the inside of their cheeks than they do on the out, and they're just perfectly round. Well, those cattle have a lot of muscle, and if you want to talk about cattle being good and having a lot of muscle, they got lots of muscle coming out of Mexico. The problem is they're hard grading cattle. Yield grade very good, cutability is very good on them, and they don't die. That's why they bring them up here, guys, for no other reason than that, because they could likely get some cattle shipped to them somewhere else about the same price. But the heck of it is, if you're in one of those sweetheart deals, you can sell all the Mexican cattle to these big four you want to, and if you promise them all of them, you don't have to take a hickey on them anymore. But that's kind of my take on this premium in the northern plains and the southern plains. But I just can't believe it's $3 to $7, and I think most of it is likely because the northern plains and the Midwest still has some leverage in their negotiations. They still trade enough cattle in negotiated cash where they've got some leverage. They've got some fat cattle auctions there, and they can get it. And the guys in the southern plains just don't have any leverage because they don't trade enough cattle negotiated cash. And that's why I'm in big time support Cattle Price Discovery and Transparency Act, and I think we need to get it to get more negotiated trade in the South where they can negotiate for higher prices on their better cattle too. Box beef cutout values were lower on Wednesday afternoon. Choice basically steady, 260.47 down just a penny, 100. 246.02 on your selects, down 217. And they've really tightened that spread up right here at the beginning of grilling season. That doesn't make any sense either. Your choice select spread's only around $5.50, and yet they're giving $3 to $7 more for the higher quality grading cattle on a live basis. On that box beef on the spot market, we don't really get to see what's happening. We get to see 500 to 650 loads of them a week reported. That's nothing. They trade most of those box beef products similar to the way they do the cattle, through some kind of an AMA or a contract deal or something like that. They only show us what they want us to see, and yet we have people that are saying, well, I think we should tie the fat cattle market to the box beef cutout values. There's nothing in the world that the packers can manipulate more than the box beef cutout values that are reported, people. Let's talk about something else that's going on. Your Red River Beefmaster Performance Group, BPG, is going to be having a premium female sale with some of the best around the whole land, guys. Beefmaster females that you can buy anywhere. It's going to be this Saturday, May the 21st, coming to you from Paris Livestock Auction, east of Paris, Texas. If you can't get there, no problem. Get on dvauction.com. You can view and bid the sale right there. If you got any questions about the offering there or how things are going, just contact Robert Scott there. He's well informed. I met him last year or the year before at the sale. Real nice guy. You can talk to him about more information, including some top Beefmaster semen that they're going to have some discounts on through that auction. So get a hold of them at the Red River BPG Premium Female Sale. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DV Auction. Late in the day on Wednesday, sitting at 151.62, down $1.85. CME Cash Feeder Cattle Index, the latest available, still sitting at 155.05. It's got a lot of backing up to do, and so will that May feeder cattle contract over the next week or so here, guys. But if you guys are interested in the LRP, come to the 4-State Farm Show in Pittsburgh, Kansas. I'm going to be there along with some guys from Joplin Regional Stockyards and then some fellows from Specialty Risk that know what they're talking about. We're going to be putting on a presentation there about the value of LRPs, and we'll probably talk about some other pertinent items there too. That's going to be Friday here, coming up tomorrow, Friday the 20th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Talk about your big feeder cattle auctions. OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma, 10,400 head. Pretty good receipts for them. Feeder steers, 3 to 5 lower. Feeder heifers, 2 to 4 lower. Calves, $2 to $4 lower, except for some long time wean stocker type cattle, and they would be fully steady. But did see a stick out deal on some 8-weight feeder steers that looked awful good to me. How about 66 head, 807 pound steers at $159. Dodge City, Kansas, winter livestock, 2,200 head there. This feeder market's dropping, guys. Steers, $5 to $8 lower. Heifers, $7 to $11 lower. That might be pretty steep with those federal state market reporters in Kansas. They don't really know come here from Sikkim, but I'm sure it was lower. Have some individual stick out sales for you. How about South Central Regional Stockyards? My good friends, the Patton family. It's in Vienna, Missouri, South Central Missouri. Dave Patton, Ross Patton, Bill Patton. Good people there. They get cattle when nobody else gets them. How about 78 head, fancy steer calves weighed 518 at $204.75 in the rain in Missouri. How about Harrington, Kansas? Harrington Livestock Commission, 58 head, 901 pound steers, bring $152, guys. That's a big time quote. But best quote that I saw anywhere on Wednesday, and actually had a Feeder Flash gang member send it to me. He was watching Hub City Livestock in Aberdeen, South Dakota on his cell phone on dvauction.com. You know, I don't watch DV Auction all day, every day. I was in the office on Wednesday, but I think I had Gunsmoke on. But anyways, he was watching it on one phone and then took a picture of it on his other phone. But you can kind of make out the cattle, and you can see this big time quote like the ones I was telling you about on our last visit. Big stalker cattle in the places where they still haven't turned all their cattle out. Row Grow top quote for the day. Hub City Livestock, 77 head, 779 big feeder, big steer stockers, stocker steers at $181.50. That's your Feeder Flash for Thursday.